Hi, Daniel Lundeen, Channel Technical Agronomist in Northern Illinois. Just as a reminder, my coverage area is on the west side of I-39 from the state line of Wisconsin down to about Route 116. And I will tell you, my area is kind of tail of two different states right now. You've got the northern part that's under being included in some drought right now. And then you got about I-80 and south in some really good conditions. Good early conditions. Obviously we had a cold spell with some issues with frost, but soil moisture in the southern part of my area is in decent shape. It is drying out as you would expect in these types of conditions. Just wanted to dig up some roots here, and our corn plants are putting out nodal roots. This stage is about V5 to V6, so we're really putting out nodal roots and starting to live off the soil nutrients. And so if you don't have moisture in that top 2 inches of the soil, you're really having to struggle to put out more nodal roots. It's still going to do it, don't get me wrong, but you're relying a lot on your seminal root system and the roots that are going down into the soil. So anything you've done to restrict root development at this time is really going to start to show up in the field, and you might see that show up with more stress in the field or just varying rates of growth. Getting a lot of questions now too about my corn starting to roll. Is that an issue? Well, obviously you don't want your corn to roll, but in extreme temperature differences, when you get above 90, you're going to start to see some of the plants shut down and start to roll up as those stomata close down and roll the leaf up. In my experience, you can see some yield loss, but the realistic side is at this stage of the crop, you're probably not going to see too much yield reduction. You can have an effect on kernel girth, rows around, don't get me wrong on that either, but you still got other components of yield to build. You've got rows or kernel length, and you've got the kernel weight. So still got 2 of the other 3 components to build, and not to say that you can't take a normally genetic 16 rows around corn and make it 14, but the likelihood is you won't with stress at this time. So I think the next week or two, we got to really focus where we got dry soils to think about, how's that going to impact the corn crop. Obviously it's going to grow at a slower rate. It's going to be under more stress until you get rain to relieve it. It's just not going to grow at the rate you would expect. But not a yield ender by any means. Just need to catch some timely rains to keep the system going and keep the development going. So with that, we'll check in again with you guys next week, and hopefully have a good weekend. Thanks.